Hey guys, welcome to the OmegaSonicMan channel. I know it's been a while, but I'm going on a new direction for my channel. I will still continue making the videos that I'm always making, but I do want to make more of my top 10 of whatever type of videos, and also just reviews and my perspective on different things within the gaming community, and just my fandom that I simply enjoy. I want to talk about Marvel Tokon. This new fighting game is coming out, I believe, sometime in spring of next year, so 2026. And I am indeed very intrigued about this game. But I want to tell you guys my top 10 dream characters I would love to see on this Marvel Tokon fighting game. Number one, let's start with the obvious, Wolverine. Come on. Why is he not on there anyway? I think that's stupid that he's not on there. Wolverine has to be on there. He's Wolverine. And he's my personal favorite Marvel character. X-Men in general is my favorite like superhero like team of all superhero teams. I just love X-Men. I'm a huge X-Men person, so you will see that on my list. I'm kind of biased to X-Men characters, so you'll kind of take a glimpse of that. But yes, Wolverine is one of the top ones that has to be on it. Number one for me. I think number two is another obvious, if you know me personal, Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is another one of my favorite Marvel heroes. I think he's such a cool character and very overpowered in the comics. But he's just such a cool character. I think I would love to see him back in a fighting the game. And he's so unique and different. So when I think back on Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or Marvel vs. Capcom 3 Ultimate or even Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, how they made his moves was very cool. And I know Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is not the most pleasing looking games, but I love that gameplay. And I love how Doctor Strange played on it. So I would love to see what Arc System Works could do with Doctor Strange on that. My next character would be Cyclops. Come on, we haven't saw Cyclops in a fighting game since Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I believe. I would love to see him back. Again, I love X-Men characters and I love Cyclops. I think he's such a cool character, and I would just personally love to see him just return in some shape or form. So Cyclops has to be number three. Number four is one of my favorite villains. I mean, my number one favorite Marvel villain is Doctor Doom, but my number two is freaking Magneto. Magneto has to be on here. Like, he's such a iconic villain. And just to see how they can manipulate his powers, and he's such a cool boss character, and I would love to see him just come back in any shape or form. He's such a cool villain, and that game is lacking villains. So let's put Magneto on there, and just to have more villain-esque characters. Okay, so the next one would be number five, is Dr. Octopus. I feel like we have to have more Spider-Man villains other than Venom. Don't get me wrong, I love Venom. I think he's such a cool Spider-Man villain, but Dr. Octopus is very slept on. I always thought he was a cool villain. I would love to see how they could use his gameplay for the first time in a fighting game. So I think Dr. Octopus must be on here in some shape or form. All right, my next one is number six, the Silver Surfer. The Silver Surfer is such an overpowered character. He's so important to the Marvel Universe. And from the recent Fantastic Four movie, I would love just to have a Silver Surfer character. And to me, it doesn't matter whether it's the female or the male, but just to have the Silver Surfer character in the freaking game would be amazing. And see what they can pull off with him. Since he has the board, they have to do that with his air combos. I think that would be awesome. And just to see Silver Surfer in Marvel Tokon would be amazing. It's, I think Mr. Sinister, or Minister Sinister, however you know him, but I know him as Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister has to be on there. He's such a disturbing villain. Like, once you learn about his origin story and learn how kind of messed up his life is and why he turned the way he is, and honestly, when you learn about his origin story, it's kind of hard to kind of feel bad for him. But Anyways, I just think he's such a great villain, and I would love to see him, how overpowered that villain actually is. And he's actually very intelligent and very sinister. So I'd love to see him in a fighting game for the first time. I think that would be kind of dope. So Mr. Sinister for sure. Number 8 is Moon Knight. I know Moon Knight is on Marvel Rivals, and I love Marvel Rivals, but on a fighting game, Moon Knight has to come back. I was a fan of the Moon Knight show, you know, the series they did, you know, Marvel did about Moon Knight, and I liked it. And I've always been a fan of Moon Knight in general. I had, you know, toys of him when I was a kid, and I used to use them on Marvel Alliance back in the day. So Moon Knight would just be a cool character just to see in a fighting game, just to see how they would do him. I'm sure they'll make him more Batman-esque, but I would hope, you know, Art System Works would make him more like fighting game. Next one is the Green Goblin. Come on, Green Goblin has to come. He's an iconic Spider-Man villain, and I argue more iconic than Venom. Venom just more popular nowadays, but just because he's just more popular and had a movie. But I think Green Goblin should come back in some shape or form. Very slept on villain, and I would just love to see him come back in any shape or form. Just do something with the Green Goblin. Alright, so the next one will actually be number 10, my last one, Sabretooth. Sabretooth is such a cool villain, and a very, another version of Wolverine that I always thought was cool is Sabretooth. And I just like to see what they would do with him, the moves they would pull off with him, and I just think Sabretooth is just such a cool villain. And I always think back on Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or X-Men vs. Street Fighter, some of those games. And I like how I love how they did with him, but I love to see a modern day Sabretooth and just see them go crazy with him and stuff he could pull off. But those are my top 10 dream characters that I would love to see come back on Marvel Tokon. Please, in the comments, tell me what's your 10 characters you would love to see in Marvel Tokon.